Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new series of Crusader Kings 3 here on the Lord Master channel. I'm Lord Master, and don't be fooled by the character in the background. This is just to serve as a reminder of the last series that I did, which was all about the North Atlantic flavor pack when I did a series as Norway and later became the North Sea Empire. So yeah, that was a Norse-oriented playthrough I did where I took part of the struggle for the colonization of Greenland and later colonized Vinland at the very end of it, which was extraordinary. Though it was a grueling series, that I will admit. But now, this next series, which does not feature the Norse again, which I'm sure one day we'll probably go back to it in some capacity and then a completely different area in the far future. So this next series will not be set in Europe, but it's something that I thought of that is totally different. But it'll still be a pagan playthrough of sorts, but not a warmongering pagan like, like her kind. Which of course, that character I'm pointing out, that's Astrid of Signifoki that I started with in that last series. So we'll start a new game here, because the start of it is quite different. It is going to be in 867, and before we play as any ruler, as part of the Rice mod, now they point out some of the notable characters you could play as. So I suggest those on the western side, and then those on the eastern part of the world. But I'm not playing as any of those people. But it's something that is not listed, but it is a character that was included in Rice. So first, go to play as any ruler in 867 start date. Just waiting it for it to load. Now I've installed a bunch of mods which you can, look at it at the description of the video below. Or on the comment, which I'll put that up as well. So now, like one of the mods I'm using is Cultures Expanded, which as you can see now there's a lot more cultures scattered in mainly parts of, the Middle East and Europe, instead of usual ones. Even I mentioned Norse before. Yes, they all have their own separate cultures there too, with their own traditions and whatnot. Same goes for Eastern Europe, where it's a lot more variety of cultures as part of the Cultures Expanded mod. And even down in the Middle East, there's like that too. But this series will be set in Harran, down there. So I will be playing as Harran. But the first things first, you gotta select the Caliph, Al-Mutaz, even Al-Mutawakil. That's the man you're supposed to start as, which will lead to this event, which will lead to a character that I will play as in this series instead. So this is what this is going to be all about. So let's start here, and this will give out a little chain event just to give it a little background, a little story. So first things first, this is the current version of Rice as of this recording. It's 1.9.2, in which its last flavor pack that they've added was the Tuareg flavor pack, People of the Vale, which is a North African oriented, where it's mainly around over there. I'm circling the mouse around. So again, I don't plan on playing as the Tuareg. I mean, I had considered it, but I needed to do a short-term series. That's my plan, a short-term series. And plus, this update of the Rice mod also updates the mod to the 1.9 patch, and the Tours and Tournaments DLC, as all of its existing activities has been adapted to the new systems for the total of 44 new activities. So again, this will be the first series here on the Lord Master channel to feature the Tours and Tournaments DLC. Well, sounds good already. So again, Rowan, that relates to the Normandy Flare Pack, which is another area I had considered doing a video series on as part of the a Normandy struggle thing, but I feel that this is going to take about as long as I did with the North Atlantic series I did, so I kind of don't want to do that. I need to do a short-term series, a series of the summer, so to speak. So let's get down to what we came for. The fate of Harran. Harran, which lies in the rugged hills of northern Mesopotamia, has for centuries been a curious relic of ancient times, where its inhabitants are mostly pagan, while they have coexisted peacefully with their Muslim neighbors for years, and are widely respected for their learning. I heard recently of how they've been demanding greater autonomy and freedom. There are those who say it would be wise to allow someone from an influential Harranian family, such as the famed scholar Thabit al-Harrani, some degree of power and leadership over Harran. This is from the Caliph's perspective, just to start with that little story before we go a little further. So it gives you two choices. You either continue playing as this character, in which you will not receive the ownership, meaning there will be no landed rulers or of the Harranian anywhere on the map, except for those made through the custom ruler design. But regardless, he's going to get the renown. This character that we're going to be playing as here, Thabit ibn Qurra al-Harrani. So in the Caliph's mind, as he's a young man, 20 years old, as Thabit is 30 here, in which he says during this little discussion, I agree, I think Thabit would be a good leader. So Thabit will get the liver of Harran, and I will play as Thabit ibn Qurra al-Harrani in Harran. Still get the renown regardless. So now let's focus on this man here. So this is the story of Thabit. Oh, and before we get to do that, yes, this is going to feature the Dark Ages mod. For those of you who remember my Crusader Kings 2 playthroughs of Prussia, Sogdia, Gupta, Amalfi, and the Pechenegs, where I did a series, a bunch of video series, which featured the Dark Ages mod, which goes really well together with HIP, Historical Immersion Pack, and the VIET Events Reborn. They just go so well together. Well, now the Dark Ages mod has finally come to Crusader Kings 3. So as it says, greetings. You're about to start a journey a bit different from the vanilla Crusader Kings. Hopefully the story is weighed by the engine number crunching, and your choices will lead to more varied and interesting results. The difficulty also increases, as several systems are designed to turn the player's characters and life harder and more challenging. Have fun and enjoy the ride. And because that character I start off with before we switched one, he gains all 1 prestige, piety, gold, and renown. That's just what happens when you start as a character. With the Dark Ages mod now active, which is now going to be a integral part for future video series here on the Lord Master channel. But now it's story time for Tell Homecoming. It has been many years since I walked the streets of Harran. Once fertile farmlands grow dusty, people change, grow, die, and life goes on. Impermanent, as always. But the stars in the sky, they remain, as they always had, and always will. Those who read the stars know that fate can have a mind of its own. It is a strange twist of fate that Caliph al-Mu'taz picked me to be Harran's new leader. I had once been ostracized from here, but now I return in triumph, though I once anticipated that I would forever remain a scholar at the esteemed House of Wisdom, meeting with the greatest minds from all faiths, poring over ancient tomes of knowledge into the late hours of the early morning. The stars set a different course for my life. How did I reach this point? What led me here? So you will go through several events in the format of a choose-your-own adventure about Thabit ibn Qurra's life. Some aspects will be random, but others may have important consequences on your starting situation. Birth. Shortly after I was born, my parents took me to a local astrologer. We Harranians are proud of our knowledge of the celestial bodies, passed down from generation to generation since the days of the Greeks and the Romans. Even when I was a scholar at the House of Wisdom, much of my work focused on astronomy. The astrologer said that I would lead an interesting life, for I was born under the influence of a certain star. According to this astrologer, a star blessed me with not only fame and great intelligence, but also, again, these are all random choices. They may give you genetic traits or increased skills. So, again, this is all random. I mean, I did test runs and did some reading on it. It's like a 30% chance of getting something. Alright? So, knowing about that man, I will say he's been blessed with not only fame and great intelligence, but also immense influence and fame. I just gained some gold, some prestige, and some renown that I could see. Childhood. My father and grandfather held a number of important posts in the local Harranian leaders. They were also prosperous landowners and renowned scholars, and we were thus quite prominent in Harran. Though I came from a privileged family, life wasn't always happy. When I was young, I had the misfortune of having a traumatic experience that changed my outlook on life forever. So these are the choices that you could go for, which, again, it may give you a random trait or not. So, is it either bandits ransacked and looted his family's mentioned one time, which it says, they took many of our valuables, but thankfully we escaped mostly unharmed. Despite my young age, I was brave and alerted most of my household before they could harm us. Second choice, I nearly died from a long, painful illness, yet somehow lived. I wasted away for a year and only lived thanks to the efforts of a traveling physician. I learned how fleeting life could be. Still, the physician taught me a thing or two about medicine. Or, my friend, my first love, and a wonderful girl all said she died. I could have saved her, but it was my fault. But it was all my fault, wasn't it? If only. No, she's gone. There's nothing I could do now, but my memory of her remains forever etched in my heart. Or, a nobleman's son. A local bully and his minions assaulted me. They left me scarred and deformed, but my resolve had never been stronger afterwards. But to this day, I still hate the bastard. If he is still in Harran, I don't know what I'd do. Honestly, the choice based on what that man's life is like compared to what he might have experienced in real life. Pardon me, real life. They say he's a semi-historical character. I mean, his name is documented. We know the year of his birth, death, and the things he did and contributed. They're all recorded. So, knowing him, I believe he would say, I nearly died from a long, painful illness, yet somehow lived. As I'll say it again, I wasted away for a year, and only lived thanks to the efforts of a traveling physician. I learned how fleeting life could be. Still, the physician taught me a thing or two about medicine. So I gained the calm trait. So now, the education. Oh, and also picked up a novice physician. What luck! Thus, despite being born into the upper echelons of Harranian society, my life wasn't always all fun and games. Coming from a family of distinguished Harranian scholars going back at least 2 or 3 centuries, there were many expectations put on me. I was fortunate enough to study at Harran's Neoplatonic Academy, which has a lineage stretching back to the ancient Greeks and still stands proudly today. For me and the other students at the academy, it was an immense burden trying to uphold what many see as a dying legacy. Nevertheless, my teachers commended my thirst for knowledge, and besides philosophy, of course. I was most particularly interested in learning about either rhetoric and speech, leadership and war, astronomy and mathematics, human behavior, or history and literature. So I already figured it out. Diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, learning. Knowing his background, I would say go for astronomy and mathematics, because that's what he actually did in real life. So it may give you a possible increased amount of stewardship after going for that option. So now into adulthood. My fame as a scholar grew, and I soon joined the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. I gained much influence at this prestigious institution. Some thought that as a Harranian, I had an innate understanding of the universe's mysteries. Rumor had it that my intellectual lineage was passed down unbroken from Plato all the way to me. I met and corresponded with many other scholars, not only Harranians, but Arabs, Persians, Assyrians, Greeks, Indians, even Chinese. My closest friend, though, was a fellow Harranian, Harun al-Sabi. Anyhow, they all had their reasons for being there. But as for me, okay, no immediate effects, so either had a duty to uphold my ancestors' legacy, or wanted to win immortality as a great thinker, or wanted to contribute to society and help others, or was bored and felt that I had nothing better to do. That doesn't sound like him at that last option at all. Based on the personalities he's picked up, since he's a rather calm person and a novice physician, based on his life's experience, I think he would wanted to contribute to society and help others. And he picked up the generous trait. So now, in domestic life, which I don't think it was documented at all of whose spouse it was, based on my little research I did for him. It was also during this time that I found a wife, as my family had hoped for years. She wasn't a random strumpet from nowhere. She in fact was someone who would have been acceptable to my fellow Harranians, and she had already given birth to a son for me. She was either a childhood friend of mine from Harran, which would mean local, a member of a prominent Harranian clan, which would also be local, a daughter of a foreign scholar, which could be a random culture at this point, or an intelligent slave girl I met years ago, which is definitely random culture, which could be any culture of this world. But knowing that Baghdad was such a cosmopolitan city that he lived in, and since he spent a great deal of time there, so it is in my personal opinion that he married to a intelligent slave girl that met years ago. Before I found out who that is exactly. But the last pagans. But now I am home, as the leader of all Harran. It is immense honor, but also an unenviable position. Some among us say in this age of new faiths, our prospects of survival as a distinct community are dim. I do not disagree. Time is against us. There are few who practice the ancient ways of peoples like the Egyptians and Greeks. As the sun begins to set, I continue walking down a road and eventually come to the grand temple in Harran. On its door carved the words of Plato, our esteemed forefather. He who knows his own essence becomes divine. I read the quote a few times before looking up to the increasingly dark sky. I gaze at the stars, pretending that I could somehow read our fate before I find my way home. I am Thabit of the Harranians, we who are the last pagans of this land. So now, here's the historical context. The pagan Thabit ibn Qurra, born in either 826 or 836 and lived all up to 901 CE, was a scholar based in Baghdad during the Islamic Golden Age. He contributed to many fields, including mathematics, astronomy, and physics. Thabit is not known to have wielded much political power per se. He may have been ostracized from his hometown of Harran. So his depiction here as a playable character is fictitious, and to mainly have the plausibly playable Harranian. Still, Thabit held some degree of influence as the court astronomer and a personal friend of Caliph al-Mu'tadid. Thabit's descendants, both pagan and Muslim, would continue to play a prominent role in Islamic intellectual circles well into the 11th century. Oh, Walia Draga, my sunshine, to think that I could brace you openly now. With the blessing of both Tammuz and the people around us, I'm the happiest man alive. Draga? That doesn't sound like an Arabic name at all. What are you? Serbian? Wow! Huh. House Kuzmanovic. Huh. Would you look of here? Out of all the random cultures, I'm married to a Serbian slave girl who is a rather intelligent one, as she is compassionate, wrathful, but ambitious. It seems contradictory. She's a nice girl, but don't get on her bad side, and she's also rather ambitious. Huh. But she is an astute intellectual, she's shrewd-minded, and she is comely, so Draga is pleasant to look at. So she's a fearless empath. What is that to be exact? So this character is very compassionate and is significantly more likely not to harm others. Release prisoners, especially children. Promote cultural acceptance. Let people marry for love and make friends. They will almost never murder, execute, torture other characters. And his character is also very bold, and is significantly more likely to declare war on rulers close to or above their strength, accept or propose duels, take risks when getting medical treatments. They are practically unaffected by dread. So, this is my soulmate. An intelligent slave girl, formerly slave girl, of Serbian origin. And you know, Serbia at this time in 867, Rashka, as was known, as well as these separate little entities, this is where they come from. And everybody is all Slavic pagan except for Orthodox that were beginning to encroach in at that time. And not to forget, they weren't the only, South Slavs. There were also many others, as you could see, which also includes the Diocletian, Travunian, Zaklumian, and Nauritanian. Again, just to distinguish from the Serbs. Oh, and of course the Branichanian from Branchalo. And Avatrad. Again, I'm just pointing it out here. And everybody was a Slavic pagan at that time. So, like how... I mean, I've heard about the Sakaliba, and that usually applies to East Slavs as part of the Volga River trade thing, all the way to Caspian and up here. So, it's entirely plausible they probably somehow got a servant girl, and then as he spent his time in Baghdad, right over here, where the House of Wisdom is, it's like he found an intelligent slave girl and married, and of course he's now of the Harranian faith. I mean, eventually we'll get this series moving on. I mean, there's so much more to talk about, which in fact, just for future reference, I'll put it at the slowest speed so I can get the game moving a little, as I will bring up more features and such. Now, let me check. Okay, Thabit, he is diligent, he is calm, which is a trait picked up during the chain event, and he's also generous. Overall, a pretty nice man, who has very high learning, as he is a great Harranian, this modifier here. Thabit ibn Qurra has been acknowledged by many in the Middle East as one of the preeminent scholars of his generation, unmatched in a variety of topics, including astronomy, mathematics, logistic translation, and more. So +1 diplomacy, stewardship, and learning. And a little bit of gain of piety, prestige, and renown per month because of who he is. And just like in real life, he speaks 3 languages: Arabic, Aramaic, and Hellenic, which is Greek. Again, due to the mods I use, since everybody speaks their own and uses their own terms of their native languages, just to make it feel realistic. So yes, high learning, good stewardship, excellent diplomacy, poor martial and poor intrigue. Those would be his weak sides. But he is an intelligent man. He is smarter than most. Of course, he's only shrewd, but not, anything that would be inheritable. And this is my son, Sinan. Oh, and by the way, this is grayed out here because I do have a mod that's called Trick or Trait, which, just like in the old CK2 mods that I played, where genetic traits are randomized, well, I wanted to apply that to here, just to make things interesting. And here's my sister, Irene, who is just paranoid, wrathful. She's a mastermind philosopher, and quick-minded too. And this is a house of ours, Al-Harani. He who knows his own essence becomes divine. That's become our house model, not just a saying by Plato. And speaking of which, since I can open up a legacy now, and based on the strategy that I'm going to go through here, I'm going to go for Silk Road. Go for this, because we do live at the very end of the Overland Silk Road region. So clergy opinion up, while the different faith popular opinion gets a little reduced. And we don't need to convert any religion. While we still got some renown left over, we need to save it up for this, because this is the one I want, and that would be beneficial for us in the long run. This whole thing about reinforcing relations with Silk Road communities can be taken more than once in a lifetime. So I don't want to do that right now, reinforcing relations. I got to do it late in life, as in choose wisely. And plus, he presents skilled entertainers when we get that legacy, which each time you send entertainers to somebody, you gain a little bit of renown. I will do anything to get more renown faster. And this is the founder, Samras al-Harani, who was originally Greek, as he lived that long ago. So it's been passed down for generations. Yeah. And this is when we became Shami, which is Levantine Arabic, or Mashriki. There's my great-grandfather. So I was named after my great-grandfather, who lived when he was 87. And there's my grandfather, Zarun Harran. And there's Qurra, which he was just intellectual and quick. And there's me. So yeah. I mean, they became friends with Al-Mu'tadid, the possibly future caliph. Also friends with Harun al-Thabi. And this very year I became Lord of Harran. And Draga, the Serbian, was my soulmate. Married her. And I already have a child who was born a year ago. So again, this all happened within the last year, when he was 29 years old. Well, actually, it was 30, but when we were born? August 2nd. Okay, I was 30 then. And at Now's position here, by the way, because of the recent update with the DLC, now there's a trait path, which some traits offer several paths, each of which will improve the trait in different ways. Earning trait experience is required to move further down a path. No, experience is required in order to move further down trait path. Proves the most trait provides. Like, for example, level 1 gives you +1 learning, level 2 +2 learning, and also more health boost for resistance DCs. You know, just in an example. Now, let's choose a lifestyle. Knowing that he's a man of learning. To be real honest, I want to get rid of it, reset those perks. I'd rather have all this, and become a scholar, you know, true to life. So I will use a scholarship focus because that's who he is. And by the way, because this is the Dark Ages mod, look how long it takes now to... Back then you used to do like 1,000, you got to get up to a 1,000 experience. Now it's 3,000 experience. So it takes 5 years, and possibly more if you don't have enough of these things. But just be glad that he's intelligent, he's a mastermind philosopher, and a philosopher culture, which is what the culture of ours has. So get this, which is just a, you know, the wards will get additional skills as I have a son, and could possibly become my friends. And if I wish to learn more languages, there's a chance of it. I'll learn Serbian eventually. Or Serbo-Croatian, because they use that as general. Anyways, open-minded. I know there's a couple of different cultures I'm surrounded by, so it would be better to be open-minded and could learn more languages without penalties. And knowing I live amongst the Muslims, I'll be apostate, and they'll look at me a little more positively. Well, you're gonna have to. Although I'm not the culture head. So there you have it. So I wish to be a scholar because that's who he is, as he was in real life. So therefore gotta be true to life. And this is established house traditions. It's from another one of the mods that I use. So, established house traditions. A house is nothing but its traditions and values. I'll exemplify the values of this house and codify the proper way to conduct oneself for posterity. So, the established house traditions are based on a set of values. Available values are determined by personality traits. A set of personality traits will become favored or disfavored by future members of your house as they grow up. Again, I discovered a mod when I was watching a CK3 video series of another guy that I subscribe to, and I thought to myself, why haven't you thought about using that in your past series? That would add a little bit more towards the little bit of the roleplay here. So now the time has come to set an example for posterity and establish traditions for your house. What would you like your descendants to value? Oh, Jiminy Christmas, that's a lot. Well, I think it depends on what are the sins. I mean, let me put that away for a little bit. Harranism. Look up this religion. This is a organized Semitic faith. This is what makes this pagan playthrough much different than the others. This is not an unreformed faith. This is organized. Not reformed, organized. This is an organized Semitic faith. Though they chose to identify as the Sabians, mentioned in the Quran in order to be labeled as people of the book by their Muslim neighbors, the pagans of Harran are a distinct sect. Their practices range from worship of ancient Mesopotamian and Hellenic deities to the esoteric pursuits of their renowned scholars who observe the all-telling stars and follow a philosophy rooted in classical Neoplatonism and Hermeticism. So already this symbol I see there reminds me of the old Hermetic Society from CK2. The tenets. Esotericism, obviously. The great mysteries of the divine may be beyond mortal comprehension, but that is not an excuse for ignorance. The very existence compels us to seek knowledge and understanding the world around us. Children of the learning education focus may gain the wise man trait if they do well the service, and wise man is a virtue. Astrology. The night sky is our window into the realm of the divine. The great secrets and mysteries of the world are written there, open for all to learn if they know where to look. It allows adherents to divine the stars and predict their future. And also increases the naval speed, which there's no need for that, around here at least. And the last tenet, Islamic syncretism. Considers Islamic faiths, and considered by Islamic faiths, to be hostile instead of evil. And I can use the Islamic artifacts at full benefit, if I have any of them. A mutual 30% plus 30 opinion, bonus with Islamic faith, so they'll like me even more. And since I'm a generous man, it's a virtue. While the opposite of that, with greedy and arbitrary, are sins. So as we know, that the Prophet's words are indisputably wise and just, and whatever are other doubts, which take heed at his thoughts and deeds. So we tolerate them, and they tolerate us. That's what matters. It's male-dominated, obviously. We are pluralist, obvious, pagan. Theocratic, while encouraged, which gives us the access to the pilgrimage activity, while missionaries are not allowed. So wise man, astute, intellectual, and above are virtues. Just, content, humble, and generous are virtues. While callous, arbitrary, arrogant, and greedy are sins. So likewise, I think it would be best to pick, I would say, duty, because it disfavors lazy, arrogant, and ambitious traits. Disfavor just means less likely for them to come up. So instead we'll favor diligent, humble, and impatient. So per level of fame, stewardship and diplomacy will go up per level of fame, which he's already good at, but I'd love to see it go further. Also reduce the army gold maintenance. Opinion of liege goes up even more, or Muslim liege. A vassal opinion if I got any to like me more. Levy reinforcement goes up. And also I will travel a little bit faster, which we'll talk about travel as the series goes on, because it's one of those new activities thing. Passage legitimized. Allowed to have concubines. Divorce is always allowed. Cousin marriage. Everything is shunned except kinslaying and witchcraft, which that one is fully accepted because esotericism. A clerical gender is either. It's all about control, and they're allowed to be married, but temporal and revocable. So that's Harranism. Semitic paganism, as the peoples of the Middle East have a long tradition of polytheism. Some of their pantheons have blended with that of other peoples and come into contact over the centuries, such as the Greeks and the Romans. My goodness, it's been nearly 40 minutes, and we haven't really got the time moving on. It's just this part of the series is just too damn fascinating. This is why I decided to do this one. And this introductory first episode gives us a very good, background of the situation. So we'll make one last decision, and then I'll talk a little more. So, our destinies are written in the stars themselves. By studying them, I may gain some insight into what the future holds. I'll discover a cosmic insight in your future. Divine the stars. There are a bunch of decisions here, which I'll talk a little bit more about it. So let's, I think that's all we covered here, so let's get time moving. Actually, wait, I forgot something. The council. This is our court shaman, Yukana. Learning 17. Virtuous man. Content coward. Right. Okay, you'll be our steward, because you're the powerful vassal here. Spy master will be Iklit. Who's going to be our chancellor? Well, actually, I figured out those two now. Actually, no. Actually, yes, my friend, Harun. You're the chancellor. And the marshal, Saba. You're all Harranians, right? Well, except you, because you're Muslim who lives here. I could see clearly that these are not Muslim names, these are Syriacs. And this is the majority culture that we are living here. This is Syriac country. Formed from Aramean under Roman influence. Next door neighbor is the Assyrians. And next to us down there is our culture. There's a lot of diversity in the Middle East, you know, in the Mesopotamia area. And don't forget that we are surrounded by Nestorian Christians. And next to us, Orthodox. And here, well, all could change. All could change. And we have no buildings except this one, the Neoplatonic Academy. For many centuries, the Academy at Harran has been the last vestige of the ancient philosophy known as Neoplatonism, which is derived from the mystical interpretation of Plato's teachings. This academy is a regional center for learning, and has contributed many scholars who have participated in the intellectual culture of the Middle East. And you say that other faiths are not welcome here. Well, you are a Muslim, and you do live in an area where there's a lot of Nestorian Christians. Well, don't go converting me. Which, by the way, let me look up that vassal contract. 1 second. Oh, good. We have the enforced jizya status off the start. Which means the liege cannot demand a conversion, nor can he try to convert the faith in Harran, and cannot revoke the vassal's titles. You may view me as hostile, but syncretism with the faith, and I'm an open-minded person, so we get along. And plus, we have the same virtue as you Muslims do. That's generous. Now, I've spent many nights looking up the night sky, tracking the movements of the celestial bodies. Over time, I noticed a pattern. After days of analysis, I am now confident in my prediction. The signs are clear. It is time to heal old wounds and make new friends. I wonder what else the future holds in store. So this character is healing old rivalries and making new friends. So diplomacy up even more. And have a more monthly diplomacy lifestyle experience if I was into that, but now I'm into learning. So no buildings, so if I were you, the first building I would build would be, our income is pulling, which means I don't want to hire a court physician nor a caravan master, or anything for that matter, unless I want to borrow gold, but that's taking a loan. Planning a border raid, even though I could raid on my own, would also be an option. Oh, and by the way, since I have the calm trait, if I wish to, I can go meditate, just like the Indian faiths. That's something that they added in recent updates. Irene, my half-sister, you get to be the physician. I trust you. Because you know better than I. Well, most of the time. Don't hire a caravan master, nor a court tutor, nor a master to hunt. And I'm in no mood to hunt. If I do need to go places, I will do fine on my own. But if there's a possibility of any danger, then I may have to resort to hiring a bodyguard or two. If they like me well enough. So all you need to do now is... Okay, a sage advice. During the morning briefing today, my Hajib, steward, made an important point regarding the management of my domain. Certainly that highlights the cost of major infrastructure investments for my counties to reach their full potential. As it is, I must be prepared to fund major infrastructure projects every 10 levels for the province to continue their development. Unless I have a stewardship of 21, or I'm an architect, the costs then are halved. The calculated minimum gold I must have on the treasury to be able to fund such development for provinces the following: 10, 19, 25, 20, 29, 75, 30. Yeah. ISO also made a point to tell me these values might not be enough to cover the full price required, but at least he guarantees that my treasure can support the eventual debt incurred. Thank you very much for the information. Part of the Dark Ages mod. So this will be the major goal of this series, which is why I said this will be a short-term series. Because it's not about conquering empires or anything like that. No. It's this. Revitalize the Neoplatonic Academy. This is why you're on a time limit. For centuries, the Neoplatonic Academy has been teetering on the brink of irreversible decline. Though it has survived for now, we cannot wait and must act to reverse this trend and restore the school to its rightful place as the heir of the ancient philosophers. So, the Neoplatonic Academy. At the earlier start dates, the County of Harran has a special building called the Neoplatonic Academy. Besides its usual bonuses, it has other special features associated with it. First, its existence is necessary for Harranian courtiers. Before we read that in a moment, this is more fun. The intricacies of stress. As I am embarking in the management of my realm, my counselors asked me to pay a cardinal attention to my stress. I was informed that my stress will slowly go up if I engage in offensive wars that tax my intellect, my emotions, and my morals. Whereas if I'm at peace, it will slowly decrease along the time. Of course, the rate of the increased stress for offensive wars is very different for someone who is a compassionate, forgiving individual, or if one is a callous, sadistic one. In the first case, the stress will build up much faster than the last one. Similarly, when at peace, a calm, patient individual will lose stress much faster than a wrathful and impatient one. With the certainty these variations will happen silently and along the life of a character, that stressed characters on average live shorter lives than unstressed ones. One must be careful to consider his or her behavior in the world of Dark Ages. I take notice on the advice. Now get back to reading. Harranian courtiers to spawn in the courts of Middle Eastern rulers. This is because after some time, the academy will fall into decline and the special building will be disabled if a powerful pagan ruler does not take the decision to revitalize the Neoplatonic Academy. Second, it allows rulers near Harran and in Mesopotamia and the Levant with high learning skill to take the decision to patronize the academy, which gives you various bonuses, including a temporary character modifier. It also increases the chances that a Harranian character will appear for you. What is a Harranian courtier? Occasionally, Harranian characters can randomly appear via events from rulers in the Middle East. They follow the Harranian pagan religion, an ancient syncretic faith combining Mesopotamian and Hellenic elements that has survived for centuries in the city of Harran, which is in northern Mesopotamia. Harranian characters tend to have high learning skill and make valuable courtiers. Sometimes your Harranian courtier might compose academic treatises on various topics. These will grant you a special artifact. Harranian characters will stop spawning if the Neoplatonic Academy declines. And when does it decline exactly? After 1000 AD. Trust me, I read this. A group of Assyrian Nestorians have moved here. Hope they don't become too large or we're gonna have a problem. So this is what it'll give you once you revitalize it. Which again, for historical context, the Academy at Harran is perpetually intellectually descended from the Neoplatonic Academy based in Athens. That itself claimed intellectual descent from the original Academy established by Plato, whether true or not. Harranian intellectuals played a major role in the court of the Abbasids courts as scientists, astrologers, physicians, and more. Historically, the Sina declined and vanished sometime in the 11th century, as the remaining Harranian pagans converted to other religions like Islam. So to achieve this major goal that I have for this series, first, you've got to get the highest title held to be a kingdom. You don't have to be independent. You can do it when you're still in the Abbasid Empire. Secondly, the level of splendor has to be up to level 3. Noteworthy. And the level of devotion has to be up to devoted servant, which can be easily done by pilgrimages and such. Get arranged marriage. Greetings, my sensible vassal. I propose a marriage between my son, Umar, and your sister, Irene. Well, Irene's my physician. I must decline, my liege. Don't get mad. He isn't mad. Because, you know, if I need to expand, it would have to be within the kingdom of Jazir, which that title's not been created yet. So I would love to expand beyond just be content in Harran. Maybe one day I'll take your title. By some means. Hey. No. You have a son. What you need is a daughter. And you're going to lose your physician anyway. Well, there's another person who has average aptitude. So. Actually. Find spouse alliance power. Oh, that's way over there. That's... is it? Oh, that's way off. Are you the heir? He's the heir. And he's got to... Oh, he's got a long life ahead of him, I hope. Hope he doesn't get too stressed out there or does anything that is rather, you know, what they do in life. But how can I trust that? Like, what if he becomes caliph right now? What the f... That's far away from here. Okay, okay. What about near here? Especially down at my level. You there. Aha! Would you like to, betroth to my son? Will not accept. Pay for a grand wedding, which will be BS. It's like, yes, I know it is marrying down and all that. Even if you get him to like it more, that will not do. Or perhaps next door neighbor. He has no children. He'll probably say no to this offer. Same. Plus, that's a load of bull. It's like, oh, don't worry, we'll accept it. You promised that you're going to hold a grand wedding for those two in 15 years. And this is a way to get an alliance for somebody that is, Dutch tiered level. That's tribal. And he could have alliances too. Again, that's just in case if I need to expand. That's Shia. You're the heir, right? Yes. Hey, what say you, Not like that. Trying to think. Trying to figure things out. These Armenians up there, no dialogue. Is intimidated by me. Huh. Because you're content, right. Even if I were to say, hey, I promise you we're going to hold a grand wedding and we're going to be very good to each other and all that. But you are of duchy level. And that means you got plenty of troops to back me up in a future event. And of course you're going to need a lot of money to hold a grand wedding when that time comes. So even if... Okay, well again, when they're both adults, you got 3 years to fulfill. Well, you're going to need a miracle to get all that money, so I'll say, screw it. There will be a grand wedding in the far future. But I can't guarantee everything. Oh, okay. Look at these other decisions you could do. You can write a scholarly treatise. Can make offerings to Harran's Temple of the Moon, patronize the Neoplatonic Academy, and pray to a planet. Also look forward to the promised grand wedding. Try not to disappoint me. Alright, it's not just a wedding ceremony, it's a public show of influence and a social night where nobility practice their arts of diplomacy, seduction, and murder, or to share a drink with friends. I'm only doing that because I need a neighbor as an ally. So we can take that man on if I ever feel like that I would want to take his title, which you can do that if you have the prestige for it. And plus you do not control this county, so the best way to do that would be to fabricate claims of either here or just bypass it, just say actually, you do have the skill to have the possibility of getting a claim on a duchy. The reason why I'm wearing armor is because of I know. Greetings, my sensible vassal. You've been a loyal and devoted subject. I wish to reward you for your service. In recognition of this, I'm hereby offering you the position of Wazir, Chancellor of their Muda. I thank you very much. So I'm a Wazir. What that means is, click, damn it. Well, I'm actually part of the, Furzan. Because I have 10 prowess, somehow. That's my base, anyway. I thought I would be lower than that. I didn't know that man's got some prowess skill in him. And also, at least I made my wife pregnant before I apparently go join you. And I believe this is part of the Dark Ages mod, where now I'm allowed to serve as one of the Furzan, or knights, so to speak, into this man's raiding party. And yes, they're gonna go raid the neighbors, or well, not necessarily even my neighbors, but out there, like say over there or in Basel Romayon. Or not. They've been disbanded. I'm back. Okay, dokie. Now, do not disturb me, because I wish to reduce my stress a little bit. I know it takes a little of the time. So I dreamed that Harran will one day be the envy of every ruler under the sky. I must endeavor to be the champion who turns into the jewel of the earth. All that is needed for me to put in is some more work. So this will just increase a little bit of development growth of the realm capital. Because I'm diligent, I'm going to gain a bit of stress for it. And you're getting too close to be stressed, so you don't want to do that. So, only through meditation we can come to understand the true nature of the universe. Though it means neglecting my other responsibilities by retreating into seclusion for meditation, I may learn more about myself and the universe I inhabit. I might lose stress, gain traits, or even increase my learning skill. Embarking on an inner journey through meditation is no trivial thing. Many preparations will need to be made, at least of which is decided where shall I retreat to. The location I choose to meditate will heavily influence the outcome of my journey. So this will be for 6 months, which will lower all skills. Safe and easy, or moderately challenging. I'll take the easy option first. Let's finally go up to normal speed because I think we practically got everything planned here. But we need to start building buildings. That's my main priority right now. And as well as increase the size of our levies, which I never really looked at the military. Oh yeah, you got to station a holding. Stationing here will have these additional bonuses to your men-at-arms regiment. This is the only one we have, so therefore they'll be stationed here. And I cannot expand because we make very little money here. Obligation invalid. What obligation? Oh, wait a minute. What did the Caliph do? We're not under Muslim rule anymore. This is Armenian Apostolic Church now. Whoa. He don't like me. That's what they mean. Vassal contracts would change. That means to do that, you gotta get the religious rights up, but I have no other means to change that. This is not feudal, it's still clan. We gotta find ways to get a hook on that man and bring it back to the way it was. Otherwise, we're gonna have problems. Because they can revoke landed titles from evil infidels without incurring and all that. So now, the overlord isn't the Caliph anymore. It's the King of Armenia. Plus, he really dislikes the Caliph, so he'll never, give in to, he'll never give in to, the possibility of changing to converting to Islam. Financing a piracy operation. If I were you, I would just try to revoke the King of Armenia's title, start a civil war, and you would win. While I will just be content of where I am. Retreating to the privacy of my chambers, I've begun an extended period of fasting and meditation. Unburdened by the trade concerns of everyday court life, I soon find myself spending more time just enjoying simple pleasures in life. I am glad I took the time to do this. Lose a bit of stress, and improve your skill in meditation. Oh, Draga, you've been so brave, so strong. Words cannot describe my love for you. Now I have a perfect little daughter. Who will you become, my child? What shall I call you? Lala. That's right. My children are sickly. Well, not my son. All babies cry, but little Lala has no end to the tears. I desperately want the midwife to ease my worries, but her furrowed brow makes everything worse. Your daughter's not getting weight as she should. We'll take good care of her, my lord, but in the end, her life is in Saturn's hands. Hush now, Lala, don't cry. So, yeah. My children are Serbo-Arabic. Imagine that. Now, anyways. Best way to make money is to either raid, or wait for taxes to come, or plan a border raid, which is another thing we could do. I remember the day when my daughter Lala was born, my amicable daughter. Memories like these bring me comfort. No matter what happens, I know that my family is there for me, and that House Harrani stands strong. He who knows his own essence becomes divine, I whisper under my breath. Why would I do that? I will treasure the thought. If she lives. I better sway him. I think that would be the best option right now. Let's get on his good side so he don't tell me to convert. Otherwise, we're gonna have problems. Especially that I have my neighbor over here. Which, by the way, do you know how many troops you have over there? I just wanted to know. It's only for a few months. I'm still smiling at a joke my friend Harun made at this morning's council session when Isa catches mouse. Liege, I've been meaning to talk with you. I understand you are close friends, but there are those who think you put him before more deserving councillors. No, not my friend. He's a good chancellor. Now, while he may pick his own council, he may hold a grudge for it, so it might possibly form a rivalry with him, which is something you do not want here. Trespassing the fence. This morning, Saba had an interesting conversation with me, where my card is underscored by the possibility of planning border raids in order to increase my golden prestige. This is only possible because I'm still a minor force at the world stage, and fortunately in our age and time, laws and customs are very fluid and forgiving of such minor aggressions. While one cannot hope to become rich with such minor endeavors, it is true the raids can provide some direly needed funds and prestige to me. I just need to pick the right decision in order to plan the border raid. An idea worth considering. So while you are in the travel era and your highest title is Count or similar, you're able to plan border raids through decision every 5 years. Well, I do need the cash right now, because I would like to build a building. I could plan minor raids along my borders in order to plunder some gold and increase my prestige. This could be a good way to add some really needed funds to my coffers. Any chance of success depends on my martial skill, on my intrigue skill, and positively on the reaver tree. This isn't going to end well. But combine these two, there's a chance. 1 second. Need your help, my Lubavi. Yeah, I still remember some Serbo-Croatian words. Well, let's give it a try. Because I do have some degree of martial skill now, despite the fact that the stars tell me that I should be making new friends. Not what I'm about to do. We need cash and need it now. There is no end to the opinions and the wants of my son and heir, Sinan. Half of the time, he's trying to tell me what to do instead of the other way around. Formidable or aggravating. It's a fine line to walk. So he's bossy. Again, my first plan, Draga's pregnant again, is to save up the money for farms and fields to get crop fields going. Unfortunately, the planned border raids against our neighbors are not successful. After a poor show of my unskilled raiders, my prestige suffers somewhat. Oh, that ain't much. Next time will be for real. So you done pissed off every independent neighbor that there is within the Abbasid Caliphate. Put it back. My scouts returned from of Amin last night with the information requested. According to reports, Amir Abu of Zarid has gathered at least 5 times more men under his banner compared to you. Since there is no active conflict, the number is unlikely to have changed in technical. Reports also suggest that the economic strength is less than half of that of yours. Scouts were able to identify 6 individual veterans leading arms under his banner. Thank you very much. But you a Christian now, by the way? No. I mean, the Armenian made my liege a Christian. I mean, between us, he's an administrator, diplomat, and all. Where did you get all this? How long have you been a ruler, by the way? Since the beginning of the series. Even years before, okay. And he's in good health. By the way, those Armenians, they're no joke. They're strong believers, and that very reason why it's highly unlikely they'll ever become Muslim. Ever become Sunni. And you do not want to fight them up in the mountains. So honestly, I'm afraid of the Armenians than any rebelling Arabic force. Potentially. Think. What's Byzantium doing? At war with the Aghlabids against Sicily. I don't know if it's a good idea. I'm thinking about raiding this area unless they did it already. Except the gold that they have is chump change compared to other areas per se. Unless you want to raid Persia. And that's even riskier. Or how about this small entity over there? Not been raided yet, but I fear that's what they're going to go after and steal my idea. Or go far and raid up there. I don't think the troops can make it all the way over there. Plus, we only be carrying like 30 gold. That ain't much. It's a waste of time. Unless they're in the middle of the war, then I'll consider raiding. My friend Harun burst in my room, knocking over the lamp and almost setting a cushion alight. Thabit, I'm sure I'm being followed, he cries, pointing after him. There were men skulking outside of my chambers. My things have been moved. Draga, need your help a little. No one threatens my friend, so either we'll be able to unearth a conspiracy, in which there's a 25% chance that he'll be my best friend, or that nothing is found. And that makes me stressed a little. My spy master did, because long last admitted she could find no evidence against my friend. Oh, hold on. She's gone as far as to suggest the entire episode was a figment of Harran's imagination. Not spy amateur. Tell you what, I'll have you guarded just in case. Gotta be switching that constantly, you know. Almost too real. While visiting a local nobleman, he shows us one of his prized possessions, a painting he acquired some time ago that depicts a beautiful woman. Now, paintings about people are nothing out of the ordinary, but this painting is particularly famous. In particular, is famous because the artist managed to do an extremely realistic depiction of a person. So real that it almost feels as if the painting looks as if it is a real, living, breathing lady, who at any moment will jump out of the frame and interact with us. It's only for a year. Plus, you already got a pregnant wife. Oh, what's the harm? Oh, I'm thinking about what I could be doing with such a beauty. Feeling a little lustful. Again, I'm not just married to a Serbian slave girl, but an intelligent one. My friend Harun and I are ambling through my gardens, laughing grossly at a rhyme he overheard his servant tell, while eyes across the path. He looks at us sternly. My lord, is there something you wish to discuss here at the moment? Join us, you gotta hear this. What could possibly go wrong? So, Isa is being challenged diplomatically by Harun. So 46% the Harun wins him over, and they'll be friends. Or 53% chance that this will be the last straw. And they'll be rivals. I have a horrible feeling that the joke hasn't landed. My fears are confirmed when moments later, Isaac exhales a soul-crushing sigh and rolls his eyes and wanders up. Harun shrugs. Come on, what a prude. Why, that one, Harun. Well, they're rivals now. That's not good. You two are going to have problems, and I fear things may get out of hand. Now there's a small minority of Sunni Muslims here. Don't remember when they moved in, or was that a conversion attempt prior to, you know, this whole thing. Disappointed guardian, your relative. And again, trying to get on his good side so you don't attempt to convert me. And maybe one of these days I'll get a hook on you. All the way to the lands of Azerbaijan. Shevan, as it's called at that time. Another daughter. Kamala. Is she sickly too? Which, by the way, having the Dark Ages mod on, there is an increased chance of you know, the death rates of just about anybody. And as well as that update that they kind of added for events like these in the know. Now a strange noise. I arrived back at my Kasbah after a long, lonely walk. Another year passed, another year older. I was born on this day 33 years ago. The older I get, the more I cherish the relationship I've cultivated over the years. So it saddens me I've not heard from my wife, Draga, or any of my friends today. I trudge along to my chambers, loneliness impeding my lazy feet, when I hear a clang, hushed whispers from down the hallway. What could that be at this hour? Happy birthday! What a surprise! All my nearest and dearest friends have come together to wish me well as I begin this next year of life. There's even an entire table laden with saffron cakes, my favorite. Here I was thinking that everyone had forgotten about me. I cannot believe that Draga went to all the trouble arranging this in secret. I had not a clue such a thoughtful surprise was being planned at all. My friend Harun approaches me, struggling to carry 3 beautifully wrapped packages. Ever the trickster. He says, I have 3 gifts for the choosing. One shall be yours. Which one shall it be? These are 2 friends. Harun and potentially future Caliph. Yeah, he will be the future Caliph. I mean, when this man becomes one, then he's next in line. So give me the biggest one. I've become the owner of a fine sword and increased raiding speed. Well, I have talked about raiding. Mighty fine sword. A wrought iron sword of fine craftsmanship. The grip has a series of decorated bronze rings evenly spaced between straps of leather. Plus 2 prowess and faster raid speed. So maybe I should consider raiding in the future. But that's only if the larger nations are at war, or if they're smaller entities that don't raise armies. But then again, it does take a little bit of time to raise armies anyhow, because of the Dark Ages amount of what it does. If my fears were confirmed, they were raided. They'll be active again in 4 years, so... Reminder, first place to raid, here. How much do these cost? 20 gold, 10 gold, 20 gold, 10 gold plus 50 piety. Well, we make very little money. That's the reason why I said plan on saving this first, just to get a bunch more income. And the second one, I will go for hunting grounds, get a bit of levies up. And the third option, that I would probably go for either militia camps or the fortification. Court Shaman Yukana is considered by many a paragon of Harranian virtue. His spotless conduct and tireless work as a scholar and a preacher has helped reinvigorate the faith significantly in the last few years. How commendable. Peasant rabble. What did you do to piss these people off? Trying to convert. And lack of cultural acceptance. The Gudamir. While hosting lords and ladies from the realms near and far, some opportunities to portray my liege Amir Hassan in good light to present themselves. My lord, pray tell, who is the most dignified person you ever heard of? Amir Hassan, without a doubt. Look, there's a very small chance you may get a hook through swaying, I believe. If not, then I'll find other means. Other means. I know she's my soulmate, but the Serbian girl knows how to love. Not to mention she's smart. That's the most important thing. I would like to have another son. Still unsure if she'll survive sickliness. Good. She's region now because he's off traveling to where's he going? He's probably going to go petition to his liege, the Caliph himself, on something he may need. I mean, I'm not a direct vassal to him, but if I was, I would like to petition him by saying, hey, you know, just don't go converting these lands, alright? We could be a benefit to you. You just gotta learn to trust. Hey, would you like to marry her? Also, what? No, never mind. I thought I saw something, but I didn't. Obviously not matrilineal. It's like, yes, it's marrying down, but having an alliance with you, and plus, you are terrified of me, for whatever reason. Oh, it's because you're paranoid. Tyranny war you're dealing with, huh? You know, if I were to intervene and give you a little support, there might be some money in that. And plus, we'll be good neighbors. That shall be no longer my court physician, as I do believe we have another person who has average. Hey, since you know a lot more than I do, so Draga, my own wife, be my court physician. She's my everything. I don't know why they call you the orphan. As I take notice of the performances of Draga in the council or among the informal vassals meetings, I made since she's ever more influential decisions being made, any advice being given to me. It is no wonder that this political mastery improves her contribution among sterling influence at large. So my wife is now a savvy politician, or cunning politician. She has delved deeply into the intricacies of politics and has gained very relevant experience in the process, plus one of all skills. As a reminder, it comes from this culture that's communal, that's into religious patronage, staunch traditionalists, stalwart defenders. And I have a son. Ismat, fine name. But will he have sickly? That's the question. Because Kamala didn't. Ismat. A few days have passed. That means no sickly. So, all good. Have I been getting stress over time, or is it still being reduced? Or, oh dear. As I stand in the dining room, warming my hands against the fire and lost my thoughts, a node maid approaches me, tears in her eyes. After an elaborate curtsy, she looks me in the eye and says, "My Wali, your sickly offspring, the beloved Lala, didn't resist the illness that befell her and died some moments ago." Well, then you would say, she just stands in front of me, tears flowing, waiting for my next command. My poor child. In the Dark Ages, the death rate of infants were high indeed. As Lala was born a sickly child, unfortunately, death took her away. I had so many hopes for you, my sweetest child. All the things you would learn, experience, and do. There were so many possibilities. A whole life to live. Maybe you would have had children of your own one day. But now none of those things will ever come to be. Rest in peace, little Lala. Just for that I gained a bit of stress. So again, I'm keeping my eye on the stress. Is it going down or is it going up? I mean, it should be going down because it's peacetime, like I said earlier. If it isn't, then I'm gonna have to do something about it quick. The new Armenian king has returned from his trip to the Abbasid capital. So I gotta be careful with the stress here. You don't want to have a mental break. You definitely do not want. Maybe I should go meditate again. In fact, I should do that right now, since I didn't sway the man. Just go meditate in your castle. Casbah. What's your skill again? Oh, god dog it. There goes the holy taxes. That just makes monetary gain a little slower. The steward's a damn fool. What's your stewardship skill, by the way? Low. But you're very good with martial because you're base and also you tended to be ambitious and pretty angry. Just don't take your anger out on me, alright? I do have enough gold now, but I need to save up a little more. Like, give me at least 20 more, then I'll spend it on the arms fields. So again, this series is expected to be what I would call a slow burn. As much as I would like to build tall a little, but I'm in a precarious position because the Armenia did some things. They converted this, but they... oh, crud, they also converted that. Retreating to the proximate years, I began an extended period of fasting meditation. Soon hunger overcame me, however, and realized that the provisions I brought were woefully insufficient, and that the remaining days of my trip filled the struggle to find food in the wilderness, leaving me time for the naval gates. Oh, that's... oh, hell. The Armenian principalities, I mean, whose bright idea was to transfer vassalage to him? I know it was him. I know he did it. Staring at stars. From all my evenings watching stars, I have seen with my own eyes what I've only heard of before. The stars move at different speeds and reverse their course at different times, but seemingly in large groups, depending on which celestial sphere they belong to. Indeed, with the right calculations, one could even predict their movements. My court shaman does not approve, of course. Leave the skies be. The celestial realm is for the priesthood to know. What are you talking about? You do the stars staring yourself. We're Harranians. I will find my answers in the heavens. Learning per level of devotion, which increases my learning skill just a bit. Can't wait to get this though. This will be beneficial. I would send you to find secrets, but I gotta wait for that modifier to expire. So 2 years time, we're gonna start looking for possibility if Hassan's got any secrets, so I could get a hook on him, so I can get a contract changed, so he doesn't give a chance to attempt to try to convert me. I mean, he's not converting my land right now, otherwise I would have seen those minorities popping up. But there is a large minority of the Sunnis here, which is mildly concerning, because I'd rather keep Harranism. Oh, by the way, I never pointed out this special building here at Talmada. The temple is the temple of the lunar deities in Harran has endured for centuries, having witnessed the coming and going of the Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, and more. Sin has been worshipped in this region since the days of the Mesopotamian kings. Now, a provisional catastrophe. On a morning of twittering birds, a company made down to the cellar. The light of dawn giving way. Oh, sorry, I got a little distracted. Once my eyes adjust to the lack of light, the culinary tragedy is. God damn it! Start over again. The morning course of twittering birds company down to the cellar. The light of dawn given way to gloomy darkness, lit only by sputtering lamps. I yawn and stretch as I go. My feet flat across the floorboards. Once my eyes adjust to the lack of light, the culinary tragedy is unveiled at it. Apple cores, scattered crumbs, bones, splints, clean to their meat. It's shock. I look around the entire room, but everywhere my eyes seem to find more evidence. Suddenly, in a corner, a soft, contented burp. Harun! What the heck, man? You made me spend my money that I'm trying to save so hard! But, as you are my friend, I'll just say, my treat, I guess. Don't want to get too stressed about it. You know how I am these days. Is my friend really a glutton? I didn't look at that trait part. Yes, he is. Go figure. Incapable? He is incapable! Due to physical injury or mental disability, Al-Mu'taz is unable to take care of himself or take decisions independently. So now, the up-and-coming Caliph is going to be the next one. After the Craven trait, egads, what if there's an independence movement and they will break out? Yeah, that means we'll be stuck under the Armenians for good. Wally or peasant, high or low, it does not matter. In the end, we're all mortals. I was reminded of this as I woke coughing in the early morning hours, a dull ache pounding through my head and throat. You seem to be under the weather, my lord. I know a fair number of suitable remedies. By the way, under the Dark Ages mod, illnesses come in more frequently. Do no more than what is necessary. Draga has called on the priest to bring forth the finest singer in the court, which turned out to be a young child with a bright tenor voice. For several days in a row, the child sang me to sleep. The soothing sound turned out to be just what I needed. For now, the worst of my symptoms are alleviated. The world seemed a little brighter. Excellent work, Draga. I'll be better soon enough. What kind of treatment is that? I studied medicine back in the House of Wisdom. All I need to do now is just wait for the illness to go away. Ah, yes. Must educate you. You are my son and heir. And I don't mind you going for marshal at all. No. Nobody is more learned than me, so therefore I'm a best guardian for that job. Plus it makes sense for him to go for marshal. You know, you gotta expand somewhere. Conversation over cakes. My entourage and I are strolling back from a short foray into Harran when we unexpectedly crossed my liege, Amir Hassan and his retinue, skulking around my capital on unannounced business. You're not traveling, are you? I mean, you're ill as well. Ah, Thabit, I was hoping I'd run into you. Come, I found a most delightful little taverna just a short ways from here. Would you care me for some imported teas and hashish-infused cakes? Get a weak hook. 99% chance. Just trying to keep up, friend. The hashish causes him to talk too freely, so I'm gonna manipulate him. Manipulate this man. And, modify the contract a little. So now I'll be religiously protected, so he cannot demand a conversion, and the liege cannot use the demand to convert Raven County. Yes, this will work. Greetings, my sensible vassal. Circumstances made it necessary for me to make the following alterations in my country. I trust you to find these changes to be fair. Yes, it is fair. Then again, he isn't right in the head. The hashish and his illness. I mean, yeah, we're both sick, but I came out on top. Got him. Now I feel a little safer. I also got to spend that money on those crops for now. It'll take a few years, and then we'll start making some real money. As I awoke this morning and observed the first rays of sunshine, it took me a moment to realize that I slept soundly for the first time in weeks. I did not wake up coughing once. I'm glad to be well again. Will it change his faith? That's a Hellenic faith. There's heresy popping up there? Yep, it's popping up. Yeah, I think that's all it expanded. Just parts of Anatolia. I have gotten an idea that attempts to align Amir's son to my interest. Perhaps I could argue that his interest in all of the Hellenic to support me rather than any other Harranian ruler. I believe I can make a very convincing argument. And he is convinced. Alright, you can sway no more. One thing I would like to learn from you, and that is to learn your language of Slovenisko, Serbo-Croatian, Srpsko-Hrvatski. Yeah, that's correct. I just wanted to know the language of your people. And because of my high knowledge, I could get this done in 2 years. So we'll be ending this episode very soon. So, as I said before, this first episode is just nothing but a slow burn, and I'm sure we'll make some more valuable progress in the next episode. Meaningful progress, especially in the realm of economy. And also, we got to reconvert this land back. You ain't doing anything. Reconvert this back. In 8 years' time, we'll be sure to make this a majority again. And I'm going to change the law to say that all the other faiths are unwelcome. And then once it's reconverted, we gotta expel those minorities. Get out of my realm. This place is for Harranians only. We don't want to be a minority. We want to be the majority here, and here only. The reason why it's like that is because I believe it's the Caliph who's doing this again. Which he's incapable and melancholic, so it's only a matter of time before he's gone. And then there's going to be some changes in the Abbasid Caliphate, which I feared that those will be the changes that will not be beneficial to us Harranians regarding being under the Armenian principalities. And also one day, gotta fabricate the claims to get this piece of land. Alright, these people are a little more amenable. Endorsing integration, supported conversion. And also in the next episode, I may possibly start going on, pilgrimages and such. And maybe my darling wife can come with me. Because, I'd rather have a physician to be with me, so I'll be sure to switch regencies. Waking up this morning beside my Draga, I sigh and stretch out languidly only to catch a glimpse of my beloved wrinkler nose. I open my mouth to inquire further, only to have Draga recoil even further. Listen, Thabit, my love, she starts quickly, as if the words come out of her mouth by accident. This is difficult to bring up, but you've not been smelling particularly fresh recently. Dumbfounded, gave my arm an inquisitive sniff. Perhaps she has a point. It's not that bad. That costs money to look for it. Wait a minute. A grand tournament. Does it involve wit? Recital? That's actually more my thing. Okay, you know what? Let's actually close the episode by going to the tournament. One second, though. Amir Hassan is going. Are you going to that tournament as well? Yes, you are. The tournament is on Najaf. Well, let me train for the tournament. The call of the steel cannot go unanswered. I shall don my equipment and head to the training grounds for practice. Me and my Furuzan sharpen my skills. If successful, this will raise my prowess for the martial advance of the outcome turn. Calm down, it's only a recital. Just give me the training. And then you turn to the right, Saba yells, while dealing with a powerful blow to my sword. That makes me take a couple of steps back. They won't go gentle on you in that tourney, my lord, he says, drying the sweat from his forehead. If you want to win, you can't afford to lose. Not even to me. Not even once. This is a prowess challenge. So 13%, the training is impressive, and I increased my prowess up. 52% chance that my training is successful. 33% chance that I hurt myself like a dummy. And all the other fighters, 4% chance that their prowess increases when nothing happens. Well, I don't hurt myself. Way to go, dummy. Okay, before we go to that tournament, change regency. I need someone. Because I want Draga to come with me. She's my physician and she needs to be there when I need her the most. I select you be the regent. I know the aptitude is poor, but I don't give a damn. You're gonna be the regent for 10 years, period of time, because I need my wife to come with me. Greeting to the benign thought of it. I am organizing a grand tournament in Al Kufa. We will start with a recital contest, a chance to show your skill to all I want. While the focus will be on honing our skills, there will be decent prizes for the victors. Again, I have the skills for it. But, of course, there's always a catch. I don't have a caravan master. We'll get one. But the problem is, none of them are good at this. Maybe over time they'll improve your skills. So, Elisha, you'll be the caravan master because circumstances mandated. There are many dangers out there. Give me the Silk Road merchants. Again, the activity won't start till June 24th, and we'll be there in May. I can take my time a little. Plus, this slows down and increases safety speed. And when the trial starts, every time you enter a barony, there's a 9% chance you might gain a small amount of gold from a trade deal, depending on your diplomacy and stewardship. Although traveling a large caravan of merchants might slow the journey down, there is safety in numbers. These traders are experienced in traversing Eurasia. A travel with them might offer the chance for occasional business opportunity. This option is available because we live in the Silk Road region, which that outline actually ends here. We live on the very end of the Silk Road. Of course, there's a high chance of danger, which is over there, because the county control's gone to crud. So give me mercenary guards as well. It'll get us there faster and be more safe. So we'll hire hardened mercenaries to join Entourage's guards, increasing overall speed and safety. So now there'll be a medium chance of danger at there, and there. And we'll be seeing a few points of interest that relates to learning. And when this tournament is over, I'm gonna make a custom route. We'll go through here. We'll go past the Caliph's capital. And then we go through here. And then we go visit the Temple of Sin. And then back home into Harran. Got it? We'll be there the 15th of May. As long as we don't get too many delays. So Shirin, the Sogdian Muslim woman, I mean, of course it's a Sogdian. You know, they're masters of the Silk Road. And there's Babik, who is a Kurdish mercenary, the Kurdish band of Masabat. Oh, not just a Silk Road merchant, but a huntress too. What luck. Anyways. My fellow attendee, Amir al-Mufarak, is hosting a grand tournament competition in the vicinity of Al-Kufa, and the time has come for us to depart. We shall represent the house of al-Harani and make the Sambi people proud. Hopefully the rest of Kufa won't be as rotten as... Well, we should still be worried what goes down when in the lion's den. Suppose we must. It's a recital tournament. Okay, no longer wounded. She's an honest physician. Thank you, my Serbian wife. God, I love her. So yeah, this is how the travel works for the first time that you are seeing in this video series. We're just traveling along the lands with a small percent chance that we'll get a Silk Road trade deal going. And visiting landmarks, points of interest. So this could go on to Baghdad, but I'll do that in the pilgrimage. An opposing man is standing on the road ahead of us. I am Hosai of Al-Fasan. I bested dozens of men in combat, and honestly, All those fights were dull, so here I am on this road, looking for someone better than me, someone I could learn from. If you could best me in combat, I'll become a valuable and loyal servant. And so on this day, I demand to meet you in a fair fight. In a Syrian Christian. Very nice. All my prowess skills slightly better than his, and I've been hurt before. Plus, nobody's going to get hurt in that tournament. I could send Elisha. That's the caravan master. Yes. Either that or I'll do it myself. If I get wounded again, my wife heals me and she increases her skill. So you might be less valuable after I win. And I win. And he joins. Slope! I hear Ptolemy shout out in panic. Soon thereafter I hear a loud cracking sound. Like that of wood breaking, or my patience finally snapping. I step out on a shrub and see splintered remains of a wagon wheel. My wagon wheel! I'm sorry, my liege. It was my turn as lookout, and I fell asleep at the reins. We can't be late for the tournament. Shovel the supplies around. I'll ride rough from now on. I'll take the prestige hit. Cross the Euphrates. I've noticed that Hosei avoids me more than usual. He always sits at the opposite end of the table when invited to a feast. He constantly refuses my company while camping. We may not have the best relationships, but that attitude is starting to tire me, especially when over here defaming me. Thabit is a false sign. Okay, I'd be better wily than him. What you say to me, punk? I could beat him up, or just tell him to take care of it. You got any money in you? No. No reason to imprison me. Just tell him to get the hell out of here. But I'll say, I should take care of it. You two speak the same language. Visited Imam Hussein's shrine, so I gained some more experience. Plus Silk Road trade. By traveling together with Shirin and her merchant caravans, I've come across business opportunities that I would not have otherwise. While in Karbala, we were able to secure a favorable trade deal with merchants we met there. I could accept the deal as is, or risk it and haggle to get even more out of the other merchants, but they might refuse the deal if it fall through. Either gain 14 gold or haggle for some more. Wife! I need your help. Let me see how much this is. I don't know about this. If I had higher stewardship, I will consider it. But since we hardly make any money these days, and there better be a big prize if I win this tournament, so we should stick to the initial agreement. Keep the core politics on. You might need it for the upcoming tournament as we're about to arrive here right now. I have arrived at the site of the tournament, here in Al-Kufa. Though not all the revelers have arrived yet, throngs of people wander through the colorful surroundings, all looking forward to the forthcoming display of skills and prowess. I have no time to lose. I must begin preparing. I must be a victor at absolutely any cost. I'm so close to qualify. So, I should go to the turning grounds, the training area for the tournament. Spending time here will increase my progress to victory. So we'll participate. So, recital is a poetry competition in which the contestant publicly recites a poem written for the occasion and is judged against all the other entrants. So victory in this contest will likely give a famed artifact due to decent prizes. Go, ankle biter, faster! I hear a man's echo across the grounds. I looked up to see a small thing hurrying through the sky like a black bolt of lightning. Soon enough it swoops down towards the finishing line. Bah, you mustn't cheat it. Your bird cannot fly that fast. Just look at her. She's heavy like stone. You ain't gonna lose a chance to winning looking smug. Must take a lot of preparation to do this, I'll say. Now I'm currently guaranteed to qualify. Should go to a tent camp. Sweet words. I'd be surprised if Hisham doesn't sweep the floor with the other contestants I hear as I walk around the camp. A group of visitors are eating around a pot. I spot the very quaid Hisham sitting with it. You exaggerate, my friend, he says. Says quietly, considers something. I lock eyes with him and give him someone. If you'll excuse me, he mutters, getting up. Is there such a Lord wish to discuss? Hey, winning won't make you any friends. He listens to me. So his score decreases greatly, while mine increases moderate. Won't be able to visit any locale by the time this is about to begin, the recital. So I've qualified. The entrance mill about the main tent, warm up the vocal cords and memorizing stanzas as the crowd fills the amphitheater. My ears prick up as my name is mentioned, drifting across the gentle breeze. This could be a good sign or a bad one. Again, I may smell, but I'll see too if I can increase my wit. No, save the money. It's time to show the world my skill. I'm not placing on anybody. I won't even bet on myself. Now, look here. It's July now, so... Already paid their entry fee. It begins. He compliments him on the teeth. Another verse done, another smash hit with the crowd. I'm very much enjoying myself. The noisy appreciation of the mob only lifts my spirits even higher. As I take in some applause, a particularly witty line, I can see one of my opponents, Ahmed, rehearsing his lines with something of a scowl on his face. A further burst of ovation confirms my suspicions. He's clearly less than happy with the reception I'm getting. Well then, perhaps that abhorrent scallion needs a line prepared especially for him. If the One himself were here, he would surely say, the One is the name of God in Harranism. But again, I'm the favorite here. Beating Ahmad at this is child's play. Stone. Wild cheers erupt from the crowd as Faris finishes the recital with a flourish and a bow. The only person who isn't whistling and clapping as it happens, myself. How could he have known? Was this planned? Or perhaps somehow by some machination of evil demon? It was simply a coincidence that the Faris's verses almost end up almost identical to my own. As some spectators fall silent as it is my turn. Well, as a learned man as I am, I'll show them that it's all about delivery. We became friends here. Word to the wise. Night begins to fall on the scene, but torches light the competition as it continues. I talk to myself under my breath, readying my lips for the next round as I reminisce about the happenings so far. Like when another competitor had a verse suspiciously similar to mine before I took the stage. I step forward to take my turn, ascending the steps to the dais. It's time for the final verse. Let me take a drink of water. Appeal to the higher power. Use my combined diplomacy, which is high enough, and learning, which is extremely high, so there's a very good chance that my score will increase moderately as I appeal to the higher power, to the One. But the real question is, will I win? My final verse receives cheers and applause, but as I make my way off the dice, I can't help but nagging feeling that I haven't done myself full justice. I am winning. Victory is so close. There are precious few competitors left to go, and even less time. It all comes down to this. One last verse. So, I got it. I got the great score. There's a 23% chance of progress to victory. I've completed my triumph attempt, which means the trumpets sound, the crowd clamors, competitors begin to assemble. The contest is over. Someone's moment is sun's being ready. The herald steps forward, words moving on. After many trials and tribulations, above all else, and truly spirit of competition, we have our final three. In third place, the gutsy Crane Hisham. Coming in second, Amir Hassan. My liege? Yes. Of course, it leads to our victor, Wali Thabit. I knew I could win. I proved my worthiness beyond doubt. I won. I actually won. You have won 20 gold. It ain't much, but I'll take it. You gained a Mega Virtuoso, which this character's silver tongue sold him winning a tournament. This helps me learn the language more and diplomacy up. And I will receive a prize as the grand tournament concludes. And since I just paused, because it says 1 day till it remains because it switched to the next activity, let's go to the tavern. There to drink. A local pub is rammed with bodies. Expected when a tournament rolls into town. Amongst all the newcomers, though, there sits a woman who clearly has a fixture at the establishment. She eyes me with suspicion as I sit down. What are you doing here? Shrine blurts as my drink arrives. I turn to face her. She rises unsteadily. Forgive my perceptions, my lord. Flourishing, scornful, punctures. But I reckon you can handle half of that, let alone all of it. Tournament's already over, so I'll lose a little bit of stress. So I'll say, "Oh, really? Bring out the tankards." I wake up a few hours later, groggy with a splitting headache. Score decreases greatly, but it's already over. Yep. It's like, yep, we celebrate the day before, the conclusion of the tournament by drinking. Which, of course, I could get away with that because I'm Harranian. The sun comes down on the final day of the tournament. The mass crowds are getting dispersed. I find myself ruminating over the results. My mastery of verse saw me a worthy winner over a recital. I feel my goal of winning the contest. I look forward to the next one. What a great occasion. So my trade experience in wit has greatly increased, and I'm the owner of this prize ring here. An ornate ring of excellent craftsmanship. Its steel shank is topped by a jasper cabochon. Awarded to Wali Thabit by Amir al-Mufawak. We're winning a subtle contest. This ups the attraction opinion a bit, makes up for me being smelly, and prestige up. So, that's all, folks. Got my money. And before we finally end this episode, which is going longer than it really needs to be, we are going home. And go visit some landmarks to gain some lifestyle experience. Very good. Peasant revolt. Hey, liege, you better go home quickly because there's a bit of unruly cloud you gathered over there. Yes, my wife was traveling with me the whole time. She's a court physician. She has to take care of me. We are completely out of candled figs. Sava stammers nervously. And the roast swan, and fine cheeses, anchovas too, and even carrots. We should have packed more food. There's not a single crumb left, and there's nothing to eat as far as the eye can see, because we're going to starve. Perhaps I should have had that triple curry baked truffles with lemon sauce yesterday. Oof. What little we have goes to me. I say that because I have an ego, and I won a tournament, so I have every right to say, what little food you have, give it to me, because I'm the winner. And what did you do? glad I'm not walking over there. Visited the Temple of Sin. Now, at long last, I'm finally home. There's nothing better than arriving back to Harran after a long journey. I look forward to resting after some time, but the call of the road ever beckons onward. My caravan master, Elisha, reports that we journeyed for 273 days and traversed 26 baronies. Thank the one, I can go inside again. Learn on a job. Skills all around increases. And with that, let's just end the episode right now. So, we'll see it in the next episode, because that was a good way to end the episode like that for the first episode. So let's hope in the next episode things will get better from here, as the Harranian series will continue. But in the meantime, so long for now.